Do you know, I can't actually remember. It was during COVID. It's probably 3 years, I would think now. I was on Facebook, and you get these little pop-ups come up. Well, this one came up and it said, "Do you have a spare bedroom?" And I thought, yeah, I've got 3. Why is anybody asking? So, being nosy like, I made inquiries. We'd spent many years while our youngsters were growing up fostering and had stopped as they hit their late teens and needed different time from us. So we said, well, we've got these 3 empty rooms, the kids have flown, let's find out a bit more. Well, we had 2 or 3 visits from people talking to us about what we knew about our past, what we'd done in our lives, why we thought we could do this, and just explain to us the intricacies that were involved, and what our role would be. Providing a safe home for somebody in need, giving them a bedroom and space to be, allowing them the use of the house. They're not my children, but I give them the same respect as I would give to my own children, the same help and support and so on. We try and have the evening meal as a family meal. Doesn't always work, of course, with things they're doing, but that's the way we work. They each have responsibilities for keeping their own rooms clean and tidy. The whole house is available for their use, and I do expect the youngsters who've got the sole use of one of the bathrooms to be the ones who keep it maintained to a reasonable standard. Well, there's been so many, but I can think of one in particular. I won't use names, but it was a young man from Afghanistan. He arrived on my doorstep about 11 p.m. on my birthday one year. And all I could see was this bedraggled youngster, smelling of diesel where he'd stowed away on a lorry, no English, and just wanted to make you cry, really. Anyway, he came in and he stayed with us for, I can't remember, it was probably getting on for a 12-month. And he went from no English to being articulate, attending college. He was very lovely, made us aware of various customs and no-nos within his culture, taught me how to cook some Afghanistani food for him, which was quite interesting. Now he's been independent, he's got his right to stay, he's got a job, he's still attending college, and although this is not expected in any way, shape or form, every so often he texts me and he always starts it, "Hi Mom." And I say to him, "Look, I'm not your mum." He said, "But you're like a mum." Difficult, I think, because most of the ones we have come in as asylum seekers. We've had a couple of English youngsters, but mostly we do the asylum seekers, and it's a completely different culture to what they're used to. Everything's so different. Where we particularly live is a little bit awkward, because to go anywhere is a bus from here to town and then from town to wherever they're going. So it's 2 buses to college and that type of thing. They do very soon get to know other people, though, from going to the Harbour Project, which is obviously a facility for these people to get to know each other. So they soon find people from their own culture, make friends. They get phone. If they haven't got a phone when they arrive, they're provided with a phone. So they're on the phone all the time to their friends. And we've got a lad now who's been with us 3 weeks. And he's totally independent on the buses. He can get around. He's learning very quickly. No English. He's starting college in September. But he's actually got quite friendly with the other lad that's been with us now for the best part of a year, who's doing excellently at college. Because of their heritage and their religion, they're both Muslim. And they both speak Arabic because of that, with the Quran, etc. So although they're from different cultures and different languages, they can communicate, which is actually quite helpful. I think we've got a different answer to that if we're talking about British young people or if we're talking about immigrants. There's a misconception about British young people that they can be very rude and disrespectful. They're certainly different to the guys from abroad, but again, there's usually been something in their life that's caused the way they are. The ones that come in from abroad are usually just very thankful, very happy. The misconception I think in the world out there is that these guys are coming over just for a better life. Well, yes, they are. If your life is threatened on a daily basis with gunmen in your street and you don't know where the next meal's coming from and there's no work for your parents or yourself, yeah, they do want a better life. Being thrown into a completely strange world to them. A lot of them come in with dental problems. The vast majority need some form of dental treatment when they arrive, which is one of the first things we have to organise, getting them registered with a dentist. But that can be fun and games too. With a doctor, with college, with all the necessaries they need, and just adjusting to the fact that they've left home very early in life, 14, 15, 16, travelled halfway across the world to get here, risking life and limb, and then suddenly they're in a place that's safe, and they've got to learn to trust as well, because they don't know who we are. We're strangers to them. They don't know what's going to happen, and then of course they've got to tell their whole life story to a solicitor to go through the process of getting the right to stay. Several of them keep in touch, some of them via the fact that they've actually made friends now with others that have come in following them. So when they've moved on to independent living, sharing a flat with somebody else, they're still integrating in college. So they're meeting up. One of them came back and said recently, "Oh, I've met up with somebody who used to live here before me." So yes, yeah, they are still in touch. They've brought some of them home for a meal sometimes, and catch up again. The reward of seeing how hard working most of them are. They're desperately wanting to learn English, to learn our ways, to settle down and to make a life here. There's very little chance of most of them actually making any success if they went home. Some of them are in fear of their life, and some of them don't even know if their families are still alive, which is very hard for them. Very hard for them. And that's the challenge, is coping with their emotions, which can come out in many ways. They can come out with them isolating themselves, they can come out with outbursts of shouting or whatever. But the bottom line is generally they're very nice young people. Whenever there's a difficulty of any sort, they're there. They're an open phone line, and talk to them, discuss issues with them and come up with solutions. They're just very helpful. And if I've got an appointment, maybe with 2 or even 3 young people here, I can have appointments clashing. They'll step in and help and take one of them to an appointment and that sort of thing. They're always here to support at the meetings with social workers, and if not in person, they're on Teams. Because it gives a foundation for these guys to set up and start again. Obviously the people with parental authority are the local authorities, but the support provided by Step by Step is a joining point, so they can also liaise between, if there's a difficulty with a social worker, which is rare, but if there is, then they can come in and liaise within the circle and help. As I say, they're also there to help support with meetings and running young people around. They've also got, in certain circumstances, they've got funding available. If there's a need that's not being met elsewhere, then they can, for example, provide a pair of football boots for a guy that wants to play football, and not enough clothing allowance to cover it. Well, from my experience, it's probably the best thing you could do. Go ahead with it. You don't need any particular skills, just an open heart and a room.